do first on number 1? Here, no, anybody else?
It's like subtracting.
Yeah, what are we going to subtract? Good. We want to isolate. We want to isolate the radical. So we're going to subtract the 5. So we get the square root of 2r minus 6 is 10. And then what do we do next? To undo that square root. That's what undoes that square root. So we square both sides. So the square and the square root undo each other, and we get 2r minus 6. Preston, I need you to stop talking. 10 squared is 100. And so what we just want to isolate the r, so we're going to add 6. 2r is 106, and then divide by 2, and r is 53. Okay, let's do this a little different than anything we saw yesterday. What would be our first step? Cubic root there. You want to add the 2 because we want to get this here. We want to get this by itself. Sometimes I have students that want to subtract 3 from both sides, so I'm not sure what's happening there. It could be that you're thinking it needs to be equal to 0, but it's not. It's because we want to isolate this radical. That's our first step on this. And so we get the cubic root of 4p minus 3 is 5. So if we we square both sides to get rid of a square root, what do we do to get rid of a cubic root? Yes, we want to cube both sides, or take exponent to the power of 3. Same, 2 different ways of saying the same thing. Does that make sense that we need to cube it? So we get 4p minus 3 here. What's 5 to the third? 25. And then we want to do what? We get p by itself.
Then you add the 3 over?
Yep. So we get 4p is 128. And so our last step is?
Divide by.
Okay, you still have time to talk to each other today, and that's when I pass out the homework assignments. Just hold on. So now we're going to divide both sides by what? 4. So p is equal to this group over here. What is it equal to? 2. Okay, number 3. Same idea, even though that exponent is a fraction, we still want to isolate this here. We want to isolate this whole expression here, 5 times 9 minus 5r to the 1/3. So what would our first step be? This group right here. What would our first step be? Add 8 to both sides. Crazy. Okay, so now we want to get this radical, this exponent with the exponent 1/3 by itself. So what's our next step? Divide by 5. We got to get rid of that 5 there. Again, we're isolating it. So we get 9 minus 5r to the exponent 1/3 is 4. That's right, we want to cube it. So same idea. If you need to change this to a radical, if you need to rewrite it as the cubic root to recognize it, because I know that's something that we work with more often than an exponent with this fraction. So it's a cubic root, so we are going to cube both sides, as Dexter said. We have questions back there?
You write it like how you had it, like the 3 and the squared of the 9 minus 5r, right? You write it like that. How you have it? Not like the top right. You write it like that?
We don't write a 1/3 against. You're not cube rooting if you cube.
All right.
So this 1/3 and this 3 cancel each other out, and so then we have 9 minus 5r is equal to, what's 4 to the 3rd? 64. Then we subtract 9 and divide by -5. And we get r is -11. Go ahead and do the U-try, please. That answer on the U-try is going to be a fraction.
Once it comes back, it's just like
What's this?
Hey, Chauncey, I think you draw something. We're gonna see rainbows. He's trying to hide it.
If you both get 0, you both want to get zeros, and continue to talk to each other while you're taking the test. Don't not own it. Just own it. Just own it.
Oh my.
Should be working on the U-try.
I'll be in and out. I'll sit.
oh no.
Chauncey just ordered a little water. Sonny, go. What? Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah.
You are going to get fraction.
What do you do with the 3rd? You cube it so it just cancels out.
I don't either.
I go all the way like that.
So I'm gonna do the answer up here, and then I can answer your question later.
Oh, it says it here.
So everybody that I looked at had it right, but in case you're having a little trouble, you need to divide by -2 after subtracting 3 from both sides. Gotta get that radical isolated. Okay, 5/11 is your answer. Let me write that a little neater. Questions on that before we move to the last one? No? Okay, so last one. Do I have anybody that knows what to do on this one? Because I haven't done one like this before. Please raise your hand, because when you yell out the answer, then people stop thinking. You first square it. So you right idea. You want to square it. So we want to square it to undo the square root. So it undoes just the outside square root, guys. (21 plus) Okay, so what's our next step in solving this? Subtract 21. And then what next? A hand, please. What next? Square it. That's right. To undo the square root.
So that would be 16.
And then subtract 2.
So 2 goes 2.